Okay. All right. There we go. I think that does it. Can you hear me now? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Yes. Hopefully. All right. Okay, cool. Looks like I wasn't coming through. I thought I was on my screen, on my end, but I guess I wasn't. Sorry about that. I'm terribly sorry. Okay, let me try this again, because I'm an idiot. All right. So there we go. Now that we got things squared away. All right. Do you guys have anything that I see? I see a lot of good people here in the chat. So wonderful people in the chat. I see Denman in the chat. That's nice, dude, Denman. Um. So uh. Does anybody have any questions they would like me to go over here? This is basically going to be a thing for you guys. So, are there any questions that you would like me to go over? I think Alyssa, you said section 3, is that right? Are you talking like chapter 3? So I just want to be sure that I'm covering the right things here. Okay, cool. All right, let's go over that. Chapter 3. All right. So I'm just gonna make this a bit smaller so I can scroll through this a bit faster. Okay. All right, not fractions here, but alrighty. That's okay. If you didn't score great on the homework assignments, it's not a big deal. It happens. So chapter 3 is the toughest chapter, in my opinion, because you have to add and subtract fractions and whatnot. So let's talk about it, and let's take a look at how we can go ahead and solve for some of those problems. Okay. All right. So I'm going to open up the paint tool here. All right. So let's talk about how we can solve for some of the problems here for fractions. Now, fractions here, let's start off with something simple, and then we'll work our way up here. Hey, thank you so much, Aiken, for the raid there. Appreciate you, buddy. It's really super kind of you. Um, all right. All right, so let's talk about, let's say, like fractions. So let's say I had, say, 2 over 5 plus, let's say, um, 6 over 5. Now, you can have that here. And the way I'm going to show this off here is that notice you have the same two denominators here. So the same denominators here are 5 and 5. So basically, if we add fractions here together, we're going to keep that 5 here the same. Then we just add the two numerators here together straight across. And we take 2 plus 6 here. And then that's going to be 8 over 5. Now, what it may ask you in some problems, Alyssa, is that it may ask you to go ahead and write this answer here as a mixed number. Okay, so this is another reason why I kind of chose this kind of problem here, at least basic to start with. So if we have to write it as a mixed number, you have to know how to convert, say, something like an improper fraction that you see up here, like 8 over 5, into a mixed number. Now, for us to do that here, we just have to take, 8 divided by 5. Okay, so you could just do it straight up and be like, all right, 5 goes into 8 one time. All right, you can subtract 8 minus 5, that's 3. And so that's going to be your remainder. So putting the pieces together, 1's going to be your big number, 3 being your remainder will be your numerator, and 5 is going to be your denominator. So 1 3/5 is maybe what it asks you for the final answer to that problem. Okay, so a couple things to think about here, at least to start with, just starting with that, okay, is just talking about, hey, that's how we convert it over to 1 3/5, just like so. Now, Of course, there's definitely more to this. So we're going to look at another example here, and let's see how things work out that way. All right, so the next thing we'll talk about here is adding and subtracting. But this time, though, let's change the game a little bit. This time, let's change it to where we have a division, or not division, where we have addition, subtraction, but where we have different denominators is what I want to say. So let's say, for example, here I have 3 over, let's call it 3/4. And let's say we're subtracting, let's say we're adding here by 5 5/6. Okay, so we're taking 3/4 and we're adding it to 5/6. Now, the first thing that we have to do here is to find the common denominator. Remember, that's the biggest key in this entire section when it comes to adding and subtracting. As we've talked about here, adding and subtracting, I'll freely admit, is the toughest part about this section. But that's something that we do need to identify here. Find the common denominator. Okay, so finding the common denominator, or the CD here, is going to be the multiple of both the denominators here that is in common between both 4 and 6. Remember, one of the things to clue in on here, if you're having a tough time with it, Alyssa, is to go back to the very important note I put here regarding the common denominator. So you always start with the largest denominator first and use its subsequent multiples if needed. So it's always going to be the biggest number in the denominator or higher. All right, so 4 and 6, again, the answer is not 2. Remember, the key here in this particular instance is that we have 4 and 6 here respectively. Well, in this particular instance, what we want to look at here specifically is we want to look at 4 and 6. We want to look at 6 here first, and we kind of want to ask, hey, is 6 our common denominator? Well, we say no, 4 doesn't divide 6 evenly, so we have to move on to the next one, which is going to be, let's go to, so 6 isn't it? Let's go to the next multiple up, which is 12. Well, does 6 definitely divides 12 because it's a multiple, but does 4 divide 12? The answer is yes, it does. Okay. So our common denominator here has to be 12, since 4 divides 12 evenly, and 6 divides 12 evenly. Okay, now what we want to do next here is we want to go ahead and get 12 as our denominator here in both of our fractions. However, as it stands right now, we don't have that. We have a 4 down here and we have a 6 down here. So we need to change that to a 12. And the only way we can change that to a 12 is to multiply by some number here in order to change that appropriately to the common denominator that we're looking for. So here we have 4. Well, if we have 4, 4 times what is equal to 12? Well, 4 times 3 is equal to 12. But by the power of algebra, just like we've talked about before, anything in algebra is always a balance. So you just can't say, oh, it just multiplies by 3 down here. You also have to multiply by 3 up here as well. Okay, so balance is always the perfect key here. Yes, finding the 3 was easy, but then you have to remember that you have to multiply the top part here by 3 as well. Down here, the 6 times 2 is 12, so we also have to multiply both the numerator and denominator here by 2. So now let's rewrite the problem here. Rewriting the problem, we get 9 over 12 plus 10 over 12. And we get 9 over 12. 9 over 12 plus 10 over 12 will be done exactly the same way we did in this first example. So here in this case, we get 9 plus 10, and we'll put that over 12. So here we get 19 over 12. Remember, keeping that denominator here the same. Then, since we have an improper fraction and maybe it wants us to put it into a mixed number, again, we would do the same thing here. So I'll just put this over here to the side since I don't have enough space there. So we'll put, again, 19 here. Again, we put 1. 19 minus 12 is remainder 7. So our final answer here is going to be 1 and 7/12. And that's going to be our final answer for this problem. Subtraction will work exactly the same way. Again, same exact steps. Nothing changes in terms of addition and subtraction. Okay, so that's about the toughest part there about chapter 3. Now, did you want me to cover multiplication and division as well, Alyssa? Or are you good with that? It's up to you, so I'll cover them if you'd like me to. That's not too much of a problem. It's just a matter of if you want me to or not. Oops. Back to this. Yes, okay. So let me cover both of those as well, and then we'll see what the story is about that. Now I'm gonna there is a actual really good problem here from the handout. So let me go here for a second. Multiplication had a really good problem here, and it actually is one of the tougher ones. So I want to look at that one there specifically. I believe that was yeah, that's for and subtracting here. So I think that was back in chapter 2, but still important nonetheless. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. All right, so this is a really good problem here with a bunch of fractions and numbers and stuff, and kind of how would you attack it with say 2 or 3 fractions? Because maybe there's a test problem where there's like 3 fractions. You're like, what do I do with 3 fractions? Okay, I don't know. All right, so that's fair. All right, so let's go over that problem here. I'm gonna recopy it down here in just a second. Let me go ahead and expand this canvas out here a bit, just a smidge. All right. All right. So taking a look here at this example, and yeah, that's nice. All right. So let's go back to the example here. So I'm going to write that down: 3/25, 5/11, and times 99. All right. So 3/25 times 9/11 times 99. Okay, so this is our original problem, just like so. All right. If I can draw a 9 here, it'd be better. Anyway. Okay. Now let's say we're doing this problem here and we want to take a look here at how we can attack multiplication type of problems here. Well, the first thing that we're going to do is notice the last number that we see there is 99. Now 99 is a whole number. Okay, that's fair. All right, now what we want to do here is if 99 is a whole number here, we want to be able to rewrite that. So the first thing that you should do is rewrite those whole numbers there as say that 99 over 1. So that way everything is in a nice fractional format for you to work with, okay? So you can see what numbers are on the numerator, you can see what numbers are on the denominator, and essentially you can see exactly how to kind of approach this process here. Now, let's take a good look here at how we can tackle some of these problems here. Now, the thing is, let's talk about the big key when it comes to multiplication. We could multiply straight across here. That part is definitely true. But the problem is that we have really large numbers if we do. Like 3 times 9, 27 times 99 is a pretty large number, okay? I don't want to have to deal with that if I'm trying to reduce my final problem down. That's pretty much a nightmare for me, okay, and for you as well. So how do we tackle that without having to do as much work, right? Because that's the whole goal here. Let's try and make the process lazier on ourselves as much as possible before we have to do the not so nice things. All right. So in this case here, in order for us to go ahead and do that here, we need to find a pair of numbers here that we can reduce down. So, regardless of how many fractions that you have here, okay, find a pair of numbers. Again, one in the numerator and 1 in the denominator. Okay, that can be reduced down. Okay, i.e. have something in common, i.e. they have a number in common with each other. Now, again, the key word here is pair, all right? You have to have a pair of numbers here, all right? So we're just finding two numbers here, but it has to be one on the numerator and one on the denominator, all right? Now, let's take a look and see what's going to necessarily work out. Now, we do have a pair of numbers here in this instance. What are those pairs? What is that pair of numbers? Well, the pair of numbers here is going to be 99 and 11. 99 and 11 have the number 11 in common between them. Okay, we'll come back to see if there are any other pairs of numbers after this, but this is what we have here right now. So I can divide 11 by itself, so I can divide it by 11, and I can divide 99 by 11. Again, much the same principle as when we multiplied on the numerator and denominator and numerator there for adding and subtracting fractions. Well, you know what? You're going to have to do the same thing with the pair of numbers that have something in common as well. Now, let's see what happens. We get 11 divided by 11 here, which is 1. And we get 99 divided by 11, and if you do that out, that's going to be 9. All right, so that's fair. Now I don't have to deal with 99 anymore. Now I can deal with a much easier number to deal with, which is 9. All right, fairly nice and simple. Now I take a look and see after that on the aftermath and say, okay, well, hey, do I have anything else in common? You know, do I have anything else that I can reduce down? Well, unfortunately for me, 3 and 25 just don't go together, so that's a no-go. I have a 9 and a 25. Nothing much going on there because 9 is 3 times 3, and yeah, unfortunately, just nothing in common there. 25 is 5 times 5, so no 5s with the 9s, unfortunately. And again, we have another 9 here, so obviously, same reason, that's not a good pair with the 25 in the denominator. So this is what we're kind of stuck with. We reduced it down, and again, it's just a one time, and that happens, you know, it just depends what numbers we're given. So here we're going to multiply straight across 3 times 9 times 9. And on the bottom here, we get 25 times 1 times 1. Now, effectively, the 1s don't do anything. I think they just pretty much keep it the same. But let's talk about 25 here. Let's talk about 25. 25 we'll get here on the bottom. And then let's talk about up top here. We get 3 times 9 times 9. So the easiest way to do this, 9 times 9 is 81, times 3 is 243. Okay, so you could use a calculator for that if you like, but your answer here will be 243. All right. Now, having said that here, we're going to go ahead and then do that last part there is that, again, we have an improper fraction here, so we're going to want to reduce it down. Okay, so let's go ahead and reduce it down here. We're going to take the 25 again outside here. We'll take the 243. Oh, thank you, Connor. Sitting a little low there. Appreciate that. And how many times does 25 go into 243? Well, in this case here, make sure that perfect posture. You're right. I have this lumbar pillow, and it works wonders. So this is going to be, doesn't go into 24, but it does go into 225 here. Let's see, 9 times. So it goes 9 times here. So 225 here. So here we get 18 as our remainder here. So our final answer here is going to be 9 and 18/25. And this is going to be our final answer for that problem. So 9 and 18/25 for that particular problem there. So that's how we get that answer for that problem there. Again, it always comes down to the key there, finding a pair of numbers, one in the numerator, one in the denominator, that you can go ahead and reduce down before you do the actual straight across multiplication. If you decide to do the straight across multiplication first, it's going to be a nightmare. So you don't want to do that there. I'm doing very well, Connor. I hope you're doing well, my dude. I hope you're doing very, very well. All right. Now let's go ahead and do some division problems here as well. So let's do division. So this was multiplication over here. We did add, subtract over here. But let's do some division of fractions. Now, division of fractions can be written in one of a couple of ways. So let's talk about how that is. And let's see if I can grab something here. Oh, of course, it's the bottom of the pile. Naturally. That is pretty bad right there. So let's try this again. Why do I have a plastic bag on top of this? Here, go over here. All right. Come here. All right. Soccer train for 2 hours. Buddy, you're in better shape than I'll ever be in. Yeah, you know, you always feel the burn. When I was actually in shape, that's how I felt. I was just out for like a day or so. That's how it has to be though in order to keep up fitness. So when the teacher starts looking for things in class. Yeah, right. I have piles everywhere. Oh my gosh. There we go. All right. Yeah. Wow, Alex, dude. Dude, resubbed. Holy moly. Alex, you didn't have to do that, man. Aw, man, thank you so much. Holy cow, I didn't even ask for subs on my channel. It's because I don't think I deserve them. So, um, I know it seems I'm doing wonderful, Alex. I'm doing wonderful. Just covering dividing fractions, just trying to find a couple of good examples here that we can work with. Yeah, that's a really good couple of good examples there. I hope you're doing well there, Alex. I really appreciate the resub, man. That's really, really super kind. I mean, like I said, I don't deserve the subs or anything like that. I'm doing this for funsies, and of course to help educate naturally. Um, but we got an important review here today for the final. Let's try this and let's see how it works out. I don't like that. Okay, there we go. I kind of like that. So let's start off with division here. Oh man, you guys are so kind to me. Holy cow. I can't believe it. Um, all right. Just brought by for Christmas Zoom quiz starts. Hey man, good luck, okay? If you need help with any math stuff, you know where to come, okay? Yeah, Zoom. I don't know about Zoom, but you know, actually I don't know. I guess you know, I was asked yesterday to get your opinion. I was asked yesterday to get your opinion about what you guys thought about the what you guys thought about Twitch compared to got me on speed dial. Dude, thanks. Um, I wanted to ask your opinion about what you guys thought about Twitch compared to Zoom because I know a lot of you actually do use Zoom there for classes and whatnot. But I don't know what your actual honest opinion is actually on um, comparing the two. I don't know which one you would find more preferable, because that's kind of important to me going in the future. Is if I switch to Zoom, there it would be kind of sad. But you know, I don't know what would be the best. I suppose. What do you guys What do you guys think? I guess is the question, or what your opinion is on the matter. So you love Twitch over Zoom, okay? All right, that's definitely fair. Twitch is more fun learning environment. Zoom's more formal. Okay. So I gotta ask here, like Alyssa or anybody else, you know, what are you know, I was kind of talking to one of my colleagues yesterday, just kind of getting some more tips and things, you know, to hopefully help for next semester. And you know, your feedback is super important here. What'd you find about Twitch that was much more enjoyable? That could be kind of further enhanced, or something that you felt was much better than that of Zoom? It's a fun learning environment. I'm not going to lie; it's definitely much more fun, just being online and doing this. But what else did you find that would be that you felt was better compared to what you had to doing Zoom there? Just put your answers there in the chat, because your feedback is super important when it comes to that. And that's something I'll definitely keep in mind and definitely keep under consideration for the following semester for sure. Is kind of hopefully I can improve upon this experience just a little bit more. So, well, while we do that, let's go. While you guys are thinking that over, let's go ahead and talk about division here. Now, division of fractions here is going to be pretty straightforward. You like that we can view the videos for up to 2 weeks? Yeah, I do like the replay stuff. The replay stuff is much more enjoyable. I will say that. It's easier to export over to YouTube as well. I will say that. That's definitely true. Absolutely 100% agree with you, Alyssa. So the key here to division of fractions is to change to multiplication and flip the second fraction. All right. Can't hashtag it on Zoom. That's true. That's very true. That is a big deal breaker. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I can personally hashtag it. That's a different story. But yeah, it's not the same. I can hashtag it like this. But yeah, you're right. You got to have the emote for that. It's kind of like it is a bit of a deal breaker there. So you can't play games on Zoom necessarily. That's one thing that I've noticed. You know, you can't play music like this. Just saying. If you guys can hear that music, that is. That's true. That's true. Oh wow. Okay. Let me All right. You have a wonderful class there, Alex. You take care of yourself, all right? Good luck, all right? Good luck on the quiz. All right. So, what we want to do here specifically in this particular problem, yeah, never forget to hashtag it, brother. Never. Never forget to hashtag it. All right. All right, so here we get 7 over 12. And we could change this to multiplication, and we change this to 15 over 14 instead. So here's where we flip that second fraction. And then if we flip that second fraction and change it into multiplication, then this is where we can use those same techniques we talked about in this last example. Again, finding that one pair of numbers that we can see if we can, reduce stuff down into. And as we can see here, we do have two pairs of numbers here. Let's start off with one pair of number here to start with. Let's try 7 and 14. So 7 and 14 here, I'm going to circle in red. Again, they do have a number in common that we can divide out by. And in this case here, that happens to be just 7. So we're going to divide each one by 7, and then let's see what we get. So we get 7 divided by 7, that's 1, so that's fine. And 14 divided by 7, which is 2, so that's fine. All right, so we paired that out, no problem. Now let's take a look at the aftermath of that. Well, we also have a couple of other numbers here. We have 15 and 12. Well, do 15 and 12 have anything in common? And the answer is yes. 15 and 12 certainly have something in common here. All right. Can anybody tell me what number does 15 and 12 have in common that we can divide out? Let's ask that question here to start with. Does anybody know? What number does 15 and 12 have in common? Okay. All right. Let's do that there. All right, 3. That's right. So we're going to divide each one by 3. And so let's see what we get here. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And 12 divided by 3 is 2. Not 2, sorry, 4. My apologies. Looking at the 2 next door. So we see if there's anything else in common. 5 doesn't go into 2, and 5 doesn't go into 4. So we're going to leave those alone as is. And so here we're left with 1 times 5 over 4 times 2. So here we get 5 over 8 is going to be our final answer for this problem. And there we go. Okay, so wanted to find a really good example about where you can kind of put those two together, and it's not as bad as it seems. All right. Let's go ahead and look at one more example here, just to be sure that you guys have that down. So I'm going to pick one more here, and then we'll see how that goes. So here, let's pick 4/7. 4/7 divided by 8. Okay. Now, when you look at this at first, you're like saying, whoa, hang on a second. This looks really super confusing. And I'd be like, yeah, that's not wrong. Okay, it looks really confusing here. It just looks like you got a stack of numbers on top of each other. But let's talk about some of the things that can help us here to basically kind of reformat it into a way where it looks something similar to this last example. So the way I kind of look at it is, well, first of all, I have 4/7, so I'm going to put that in its own set of parentheses. That way, at least I'm organizing my thoughts and saying, all right, 4/7 is its own, fraction, its own little guy. I can also look at 8 here on the bottom. Now 8, just like we did for 99, we put 99 over 1. Well, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll put it as 8 over 1. And just like the 4/7, I'm going to put a parentheses around that as well. So now I've effectively rewritten the problem here as 4/7 with parentheses and 8 over 1 with parentheses. So I can rewrite it just like I have here on the right. I can write it as 4/7 first, divided by 8 over 1. And now I can just take the key here that I had from before and proceed with the rest of the problem. So let's see what we get. So here I get 4/7 times, and then I can flip over the 8 over 1 to 1 over 8. First, I got to see if there's a pair of numbers that I can go ahead and reduce down. And indeed, in this case, I do have a pair of numbers here. I have the 4 and I have the 8. Well, I can divide both of them by 4, since 4 is in common between 4 and 8. You could start off with 2, by the way, and then reduce by another 2 afterwards. So either way, you'll end up with the same result. And so here we have 1 on the top and 2 here on the bottom, 8 divided by 4 being 2. Now 1 doesn't, 1 can go into anything, so really we leave the 1s alone. So here we're left with 1 times 1, and 7 times 2 here on the bottom. And so here we get a final result here of 1/14. And there we go. That's our result. So if you do see it written a little bit differently, that's okay. Make those adjustments to make it look like a previous problem, and then apply the same thing as before, and then you'll be good to go. Are there any questions about that? I hope you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully I'm coming through all right. No? Okay. I hope that answered all the questions that you had there from chapter 3 or fractions in general. I know how confusing that can be. If you have mixed numbers, by the way, Alyssa, remember to change those over into improper fractions and apply these same techniques that we've talked about here. Okay, there's just that one extra added step with mixed numbers there, but they're the same techniques as what you had from before. So just to kind of follow up and kind of let you know, like, hey, that's how we kind of have to tackle those in that case. So okay, great. That's all I really asked for, is just to be sure that you guys got it down. So you know. Does anybody else have any other review questions that they would like me to go over, or any other sample problems that they would like me to go over? You're good? Okay. Don't forget, by the way, so don't forget to save often when you're doing the final. I know it's a long slog here, but again, like I said, I got an email saying somebody didn't save and then they booted them out, and then yeah, lost all the progress kind of stuff. So yeah, be sure to save often, okay? So that way you don't lose your progress. Again, you could always save and then log off and then come back and do the problems that you haven't tried already. That's an option that's in there automatically. But I'm just making sure that you guys are well aware about that fact. So it isn't you're not caught off guard necessarily. So any other questions that you guys have for me? Any other questions? There we go. That should probably be working a bit better now. see if something works here. So I'm gonna try something out here really fast. Let me play a small little video. See if my audio is working okay. Okay, now it works. Good stuff. Yay! It works. Glad that works out okay. Give me feel. All right, I'm just gonna this one because you get to listen to vibes. You get the vibes. Vibes are good. I like vibes. You're right. See if I. How does that go with Nightbot again? Is that how that works? What's going to be on the final exam? What's going to be on the final? Well, there's a smattering of every type of question there on the finals, Jonathan. There are, let me go ahead and answer that honestly here. There are 100 questions on the final. All right? So just like the email said, it wasn't an exaggeration. There are 100 questions on the final. All right? Again, you don't have to do that all in one shot. All right? You can basically do that as you kind of go along here. Again, be sure to save often, of course. But they cover everything from chapter 1 all the way through the chapter 9, every single chapter. Just a smattering of questions from each. No, no, you do not. Not for this test. 100 questions is way too big of an ask. All right. Now, thing is, Jonathan, and this is what I said in my last class, but I'll say this again. If you want to show me work, you can get bonus points for showing me relevant work if you submit that into the Dropbox on D2L. All right. But that's if. All right. It's totally up to you if you want to do that or not, but I'm not going to force you, Jonathan. All right? I will give you bonus points, though, if you submit some relevant work there in the Dropbox on D2L. So your choice there, Jonathan. I'm not going to force you to go either way because 100 questions is ridiculously long. So I had to give some concessions, of course, to that. And that was the first concession that I thought of right away. When I was planning to make this test, I'm like, I'm going to have to make some concessions. That's the first concession. However, the reason why I made it 100 questions here, Jonathan, is not to torture you, is really to spread out the amount of points that the final would be worth. So you wouldn't be crippled so badly if you got one question wrong on the final exam. It wouldn't count for as much, you know. So you need to do the question, you need to do the homework online. That's always been there. So all the homework's online. All the homework's been open since I reopened all the homework there. So that's all ready and waiting to go. Well, you have to do the homework the same way you did the tests. There's no difference. Well, I see that here on the homework assignments, you haven't submitted any. So, I'm not sure what you would like me to do. You have to do the homework assignments online. You do it the same way you did the test. There was no difference about how you would do the homework assignments and how you do the tests. All of them are due on the all of them are due in a couple of days. Now, if you do have homework there, I want you to email me about the situation, okay? So email me, and then we'll need to talk. We'll need to talk away from class here, okay, Jonathan? Yeah, but even if you missed the first week of school, it was written on the syllabus. If you submitted the test the same way, all the homework was listed on there with it. So, there you go. I, ju- I just sent you a whisper there. Anybody have any other questions, by the way? No? Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to leave the stream running here in the meantime because I do have a class here at 11. But if you have any more questions or just want to talk in the interim, I'm going to kind of leave the stream running here in the meantime. So it'll just be just me and this thing on on the screen right now. So yeah, feel free to ask me questions while I'm kind of working on other things kind of behind the scenes. Working on your grades, working on getting ready to prepare and stuff like that. Maybe chapter 4? Sure. I'd be more than happy to do that. Let's go to chapter 4. Do you want to keep the vibes on or no, Alyssa? It's up to you if you want to keep the vibes going. All right. Which part of chapter 4? I know you were here I think you were here last time. Vibes is good. Fair enough, fair enough. Just a broad view. Okay. All right, that's fair. All right, so let's go over decimals here once again. So let's see where we are about decimals. All right, let's talk about add, subtract, multiply, divide here. A couple things about decimals as a fraction or a mixed number is not too tough. So let's at least go over that. Wait. All right. Okay. Okay. So to talk about decimals here, first of all, again, just knowing the parts of the decimal is fairly important. So if you see something like 12.21, they ask you to write that as a mixed number there. Then the 12 is what you leave alone, and then you have 21. Now the 1 here is the most important part. So let me turn that down just a smidge. I just want to make sure that it puts that in the background appropriately. Love doing that. All right. Go. All right, that works. Okay. So the 1 here is the most important part. All right. Now, the 1 here is basically in the hundredths spot. So this basically is a hundredths, okay? Since this is a hundredths spot, then we could put 21 over 100 here if you want to represent that as a fraction first and foremost. So that's how it would look like here, because based on the last number there, that will determine how you want to approach actually writing that out. And then you could reduce this fraction 21 over 100 as it deems necessary. Not every time you can be able to divide that out, but still, I think you get it. All right. In any case, let's take a look here at let's take a good look here at also decimal addition here and subtraction. So if we're talking about add subtract here really fast, add subtract is pretty simple here for this. All right. So add subtract basically comes down to lining up the decimals. Okay. Okay, so if you line up the decimals here, that's not too bad. Again, just add like 1.32 plus 2.879. Okay, so notice that the decimals are lined up. You can fill in a gap with a 0, and then you can add straight up. So 9, 9, 3 plus 8 is 11. Put the decimal point here and carry that 1. And so here we get 4.199. All right, so again, it's not hard. Again, you just have to know how to line up the decimals there, do the regular addition subtraction tropes like you normally are used to, and then you should be pretty much good to go. Okay, next. Next is multiplication. So if you multiply here is basically going to come down to, let's put the key here in this case. Key here is to add up the number of decimal places between the numbers and move that many decimal places to the left after multiplying. All right, so how does multiplication work? Well, multiplication here works as if I have 3.14. Let's say I multiply that by 2.622. I first talk about how many decimal places each number is. This first number here is 2 decimal places. The second number here is going to be 3 decimal places. Again, that's just how many numbers are to the right of the decimal place. So at the end of the day, I'm going to move 5 decimal places. I just add 2 plus 3 here together to get the 5 decimal places here at the end. Now, as for the multiplication, all we're going to do here is we're just going to go ahead and multiply these two numbers here together, ignoring the decimals. So I could take like 2622, and I can multiply that by 314. Now, I know I reversed these around, but just to have the bigger number on top and the smaller number on the bottom, make it easier to do. Okay, so here I just go through the motions just like I normally would. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is another 8. 4 times 6 is 24, carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. I'm going to X that out. 1 times 2, 2. Get another 2. Oops, didn't mean to do that, sorry. And here we get 6 and 2. Because 1 times everything is just that anything. Put a couple X's down here. So we get 3 times 2, which is 6. 3 times 2, which is 6. 3 times 6, which is 18. Going to carry the 1 here. 3 times 2, 6 plus 1 is 7. And now we just do the addition here. We get 8, we get 10, carry the 1, get 13, 5, 7, 6, 13. Okay, good. Here we get 1 plus 6, 7 plus another 13. Here we get 8 plus 4, which is 12. Carry the 1, we get 8. Okay, so here's what we get here so far. We get 823,308. All right, if we multiply those two numbers here together. Now all we have to do is then move 5 decimal places over to the left. Since we wanted 5 decimal places here, let's move it to the left, starting all the way on the right. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so here we get 8.23308. And then that's going to get our final answer here for this problem. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Nice. All right, there we go. That's for multiplication. Now for division, it's just a little different. All right, so let's talk about division here really fast. That'll give a nice little broad overview of decimals in a nutshell. So for division, here, let's talk about the key. So the key here for division is coming down to one thing. Key is to move the same number of decimal places inside that you did outside to make the outside number a whole number. Okay, so let's say we had this. Let's say we had again 2.67. Let's say we divide that by 0.12. Let's go 7.1 here. Let's put that on the top there. Okay, so how do we approach this particular problem here? Well, let's just set it up the way we do normal division. Put 0.12 here on the outside. Put 2.671 here on the inside. So here we're just going to move over 2 decimal places to the right in order to make this 12. However, since we moved 2 decimal places here on the outside to the right, we're going to move 2 decimal places here to the right on the inside as well. So what we should get here on the inside is we're going to have this decimal place be right here. So we're going to get 267.1. Okay. And now we're just going to go ahead and proceed with the rest of the problem. All right. So nothing too fancy going on here. It's just going to be like, oh, there it is. All right. So no big deal. All right. Okay. So here let's do 12 times again 267.1. And so we just go through the motions here. We say, all right, 12 goes into 26 2 times. Doesn't go into 2 at all, but 26, yes. So that's 24. So we get 2, bring down the 7. 12 goes into 27 2 times once again. So that's going to be another 24. So here we get 3. Now again, this decimal lines up exactly what we should have up here. So we have 22 point something. And if you feel that it's necessary, go ahead and add a few extra zeros here at the end. Now this may be a pretty long answer, admittingly, so that's why you add the extra zeros there. I'm going to bring down the 1 here. 12 goes into 31 once again 2 times. So here we get 7, bring down the 0, that becomes 70. I think that's going to be 5 times. That's going to be 60, that'll be 100. And you could keep going here. I'm going to fill in the blanks here for this one. And where to put that thing? Oh, I'll find it later. All right. I think, oh, actually, I think it's over here. Oh, it is over here. Okay. So I have to, again, so I'm going to get 22.82583 repeating. So if you want it to label it like that, or you need to round depending on what you need to round with, that's essentially how we want to go ahead and approach that type of problem. So there's a little general broad overview about how decimals work in a nutshell. All right. Again, it's not intended to be super extra tough. It's just like, okay, there you go. And you got it. It's not too bad. Okay. Any questions? Let's see if it's the word com. Com? No. I always forget how to do commands. Okay, so it's command. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Well, um, I want to thank you very much, Alyssa, and I want to thank anybody else who's listening to this replay here for this first class. I want to thank you all for coming out here to these classes throughout the course of the semester. All of you are very wonderful people. You have all shown me great love and affection, and I hopefully I was able to reciprocate that back in return. Um, I wish you guys nothing but the best here. And I want to thank you all again very, very much. You guys are awesome. All right. I hope you've enjoyed the semester at the very least and have had fun at least learning a little bit of math along the way. That's the most important part, just having fun at something that you may or may not like, but still, at least it's something that hopefully you can come to grow a little bit more enjoyable. I'm not going to say completely, but I think maybe hopefully a little bit more enjoyable. All right. Alyssa, thank you so much for coming on out here to the streams. You're you're definitely an amazing person. Um, and again, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Feel free to email me. That is perfectly fine. In the meantime, here, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in about. Thank you. You have a wonderful day as well. Have a wonderful break, okay? You take care of yourself and good luck on your tests, all right? So, I'm going to take a small break here and I'm going to be back in about 10 minutes or so and we'll come back then. All right, everybody. We'll see you in about 10. All right. Take care. All right. See you later. to this camera. Hello, 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 everybody. I hope everybody's doing good today. Yeah, hello. Turn that off there. How's everybody doing? Good morning, Robert. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, my friend? I hope you're doing good. Good, good. Good, my friend. Good. Doing very good. Been a nice chill day here today. Hopefully getting everything done. This is the last stream of the semester, if you can imagine that. Playing a few chill beats here and, doing the things. Well, guess it's a good time as any. Does anybody have any? I guess I'll ask you, Robert. Do you have any questions, or does anybody here who is actually come in? Does anybody have any questions that they may want to ask me? Kind of have me cover or go over, things like that. No? Wow. Looks like you know everything. Don't forget, save early and save often, okay? All right. I had somebody email me saying, hey, about saving and stuff, and then they didn't get to save their work. Be sure to save early and save often so that way your work is saved. Remember that the final exam there, despite it being 100 questions, you can always come back. You can always log off, save, and then log off, come back, and, do the ones that you haven't done later. Final fact of the day. Crocodilians are the closest living relatives to birds. Really? To birds? Is that in terms of genealogy? That's really interesting. It's close to genealogy. That I totally believe it. Genealogy is just one of those things that's, just saying, hey, who are we related to way back in the day, replay, sort of deal. So your facts on crocodiles definitely make it fun, Daniel. I definitely agree. Huh. Well, I know that dinosaurs possibly had feathers, so that's true. I can see that. That makes sense. Birds are the only true living dinosaurs. Birds can survive anything. I like that whenever there's like the movie about an apocalypse, right? Only the birds are the ones that are flying around. They're like, yeah, stuff happened down there. Whatever. That's what happens every time. Every time it's like, yeah. You do you, bro. Limbo indeed. Birds will just like, yeah, we'll just go in a we'll just go in a group and we'll just go do our thing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna miss you guys. And I can't believe it's the last 090 stream. Holy cow. I can't believe we made it this far. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of amazing, to be honest. So it's kind of crazy. It's really crazy, actually. Maybe the real Math 90 was the friends I made along the way. And the math we learned as well. Well, I hope you learned a little bit of math along the way. That's kind of like yes, that's kind of like the important part there. Ahem, ahem, ahem. It's important, very, very important. I've had a lot of fun. I'll be honest with you guys. I've had a lot of fun for this for the entirety of this semester. I've had a lot of fun with you guys. It's been a great ride, that's for sure. I'm glad that I was able to spend. I hope you were happy with the being with me for 16 weeks and enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the class and whatnot. Um, you guys made it a treat every time that I could come out here and teach you guys. We may be online, but still, you guys made it so much fun, and for that, I'm more than. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. Yeah, I'm glad it was. I do have a question that I asked my first class, and I want to ask you guys as well. Um, uh, you know, did you like Twitch over Zoom? Because I know a lot of you took Zoom classes with your other classes, possibly. So, did you prefer like this medium over the other one? And if so, can you tell me what you found a little bit better here on Twitch than over Zoom, or vice versa? If you guys have any feedback, it's certainly something I take into account. So that way, I want to be able to be like, oh, okay, cool. Zoom because you can actually talk to me. That's fair. It felt more alive to you. Okay. All right. So some very good feedback there. That's definitely true. Sharing the screen things is a little bit tough for me. You have to have like good resolution. Trying to get good resolution is kind of tough, but once I figured it out, it wasn't so bad after that. Kind of had to settle things down first, though. First couple months of the streams were a little bit rough going. So, ah. Both are good options, as both have their own charm. Yeah, that's true. And to Samantha's point, yeah, that's one thing that definitely is a drawback, is that I don't see you like face to face, as opposed to typing stuff out. And to your point, is like, oh, well, this feels a lot more interactive than in Zoom, which may not be as much. So yeah, there's definitely points to be had on both ends. That's for sure. And I respect both, so I'm just pointing that out. I take any and all feedback into account. Hey, Samantha or Danny, do you guys have anything that you would like to ask in terms of like math material or anything like that? A lot. All right. Well, don't forget you have until what, Thursday to finish. So make sure you finish everything by Thursday. That's kind of important there. 7 times 7, 49. You don't have any questions? Okay. Okay. Let's see who else is in here. Sion. I think Sion's in here. I don't know if you can hear me, Sion, or if you're watching the ads right now because it's a Twitch thing. Um, do you have any questions at all? 7 squared is also 7 times 7, which is also 49. Here, quick. Yeah. Err. You can hear me. Nice. Yeah. Can you did you have any questions there, Sion? Any review questions that you'd like me to go over? If you have any excuse me. None? Wow. You guys are on the ball. You guys are on the ball about a lot of things, that's for sure. Like I said before, um, it was all you guys that come up for every stream, and you guys certainly made this a lot of fun. Um, you guys certainly made this an incredibly enjoyable experience to come out here every single week and teach you about mathematics. I hope that you learned a lot from me over the past 16 weeks. I hope you walk out of here knowing a little bit more than what you walked in with, because then I will have done my job and help you get prepared for what's upcoming. After that, for the next class up or in your future. Knowing those fundamentals is by far the most important thing to kind of get to know. Um, yeah, it's a privilege to teach you guys. It's not the other way around. It's a privilege for me. It's a privilege and an honor for me because you guys are what make the class enjoyable and fun. And I just hope to add to that a little bit. You guys come in here, you want to learn, you want to help yourself, you want to better yourself, and for that, you all should be proud. You all should be very proud that you wanted to help yourself and better yourself. And that's something that you should always take away with you. Is like no matter how many classes you go to, that's what you're always working towards, to be better people at the end of the day. And I'm hoping that how you feel at the end of the semester, that you've hopefully made positive progress in that direction, because that is the whole point about why I do what I do. That's why I think all of you are wonderful, wonderful people, and certainly helped me a lot, um, in terms of just making this class as best as it can be. So thank you everybody. I really appreciate it a lot. All of you, um, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say, because of you know how much you guys how much you guys mean to me. So really appreciate it. Hey, thanks, Daniel. Appreciate that, buddy. And just try to keep things real as best as possible. I know that math is a subject that's not easy to come by necessarily all the time. So, put this back on fill face here. Um, I know it's not easy to come by, all the time there, but you know, it's something that is important nonetheless. I want to say you've been very informative. Honestly, for some people, you don't need to try too hard. You just gotta be yourself. And you gotta understand that you're not, like, just because you're in an authoritative position doesn't mean you have to approach things from an authoritative way. At the end of the day, just like day one, we're all adults here. So I'm not going to be like, I'm going to tell you what to do and you should do it. These are the expectations in order to pass the course, but I ain't going to force you. At the end of the day, you're the person that has to put in the work. I'm just going to be like, you can choose to do it or not. There's consequences on the table, but either way, I'm going to be pretty indifferent to it, because at the end of the day, it's you who paid for the course. It's you who put in the time and the effort, and that needs to be recognized. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know why it's so hard. It's not really super hard. It's just like, okay, just just keep it chill, and it's not going to be like overbearing. Being an authoritarian is pretty hard. I mean, I could do it, but yeah, it'd be pretty annoying, to be perfectly honest. Why? All right. I got you got COD Cold War? No. I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077. I'm ridiculously overpowered in the game now. Like, I am super OP now in the game. Like it's so ridiculous. Like, I'm playing on normal mode, so I'm not like super hardcore about it, but yeah, the damage output against guys are just like I'm still in kind of like the first area, and I've only progressed like basically less than a quarter through the game. Never heard of it. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, it was pretty buggy and wonky. I'm not gonna lie. That's true. But the graphics are pretty amazing if you have the gear for it. So I have a 2080 Super, and I have an older chip, so I want to upgrade it, not just for the game, but probably just for the hardware itself, since it's about 5 years old. Um, and then hopefully it'll get better over time. So at least performance-wise, it's kind of a thing. Monster Hunter's super popular. I ain't gonna lie. Monster Hunter is very super popular. That is definitely true. Now, if I went over here to what is it? I want to delete, delete, delete. All right. Let me go over here. I don't know how well this is going to actually go through because it's at a lower setting. This is at 720. So, but let me run the game here and see how it goes. Hopefully it's not a choppy, buggy mess or something like that. You made me love this and work hard. Thank you. I wanted even to, wow. I really appreciate that, Sion. That's really super kind of you to say. Really super kind. I'm glad that you at least found it enjoyable, instead of it being like being overbearing. That was the whole goal to begin with, to be perfectly honest with you. That was definitely the whole goal to begin with. Jacob, you don't have to show all 100 questions the work there. If you want to submit it, there's a Dropbox item in the assignments tab, okay, underneath the D2L. So I'm putting that as an optional thing. I'm not going to force you to, because 100 questions is ridiculously long. So that was the first concession I made. If you want to get bonus points and you showed me relevant work, yes, then please go ahead and submit the work there for that. Actually, that is kind of surprising, to be honest. I would think that they would have some. Let's check out my rig here. Wow, this thing struggles. What a struggle bus. Oh my god. Well, let's see here. There we go. Ah. All right, let me switch over to my other screen here. There's like 500,000 screens I gotta switch around to. Let's go to my main screen here. And there you can hopefully see Cyberpunk 2077. Let me change some settings around though. I have to disable copyright music, so it's kind of important. So you can get a good visual on how this is gonna look. I'm gonna actually switch screens here because I gotta check. Let me know if you can hear the game audio or not. I know it'll be a little buggy. You can tell there's a lot of bugs still. Yeah, the bugs are real. But visually, the game looks pretty great. So, I mean, can you guys see that okay? You can hear the game audio fine? Okay. Let me see if I can find a local area that I can just go ahead and absolutely obliterate. All right, here we go. Let me go to this area here. All right, so I'm going to call the motorcycle from my former partner here. And it will come to me, hopefully. There's my bike. Bam. There's my character. Which way do I gotta go? Oh, I think I gotta go this way. Again, audio streaming is actually a little bit tough. It's I don't know why it's actually a little bit hard, but you know, it's gonna be choppy just because probably you need a little bit more I need a better processor and whatnot. What math class is after this? That math class is gonna be college algebra. Oh, for me teaching it, it'll be college algebra. For you, the math class after this one is 096, intermediate algebra. Okay, so if you're looking to register, 096 is going to be the one you want to register for. Let's go a little bit closer. Ooh, hello. I gotta be careful about the NCPD. All right, let's see how. Well, let me go ahead and show you how ridiculous it is at this level. Well, I'm at level 16. All I have to do is kind of sneak around a little bit if I can sneak. See if I can find something to ping here. You know what? Going around is probably a bit better. Get a better vantage point from here. Let's ping. All right, so I got a couple guys. Oh, 4 guys actually. I'm gonna tag a couple of them. I tag those 2? No. That's okay. I don't need to tag them, to be perfectly honest. I'm gonna go to sneak mode. Okay. Let me show you how OP this is. So, first of all, I can have them actually, I can just see, I can have them cost less, right? So, what you can do is actually have them cost less. Okay, let's see, 5. All right. So now I've increased their I've reduced their resistances. So now basically, yeah, I've reduced their resistances. So now they have more, see, if you notice the icon there for electricity, they take 60% more damage to electric attacks. So if I hit short circuit here, bam, 1,408 damage and he's dead. Insta death. Or insta incapacitated, it's non-lethal actually. Now I think about it. And there he goes, 1,600 damage. All right, and then I just basically they're like on edge, so I'm like, okay, here you can just go overheat. Okay, and oh look, you're probably looking at me straight up, and then nope, I'm just gonna system reset you, and then you're just gonna fall unconscious. Have a fun day. All right, so hopefully, yeah, all right, bye bye. So, yeah, yeah, and then all I have to do is collect the loot, and I basically didn't even have to enter the zone at all. So I could collect loot and then, you know, do the regular things. I just have to collect the evidence out of here. So look, some money and some, you know, archive messages saying, hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, then I made a little money. All right. This guy's all the way in the corner for absolutely no reason, and I don't even know why, but I'll just take your boots. So there you go. The builds you can make in this game are ridiculously good. You could be very overpowered in no time. It took me a little bit of time. I've been at it for about 30, 40 hours in the game, but yeah, I know this is normal mode, so of course it's going to be a bit easier, but heck, even if this was slightly harder, I would speak. It's crazy, ridiculously easy. Um, and just doing these side missions here is so useful because you get some money and you get some XP. It makes things significantly easier to work through. So I basically have crafted like some of like third. I crafted epic gear already in the game. So because I've crafted epic gear already in the game, what that means is that basically am like if imagine if I was like 3/4 of the way through the game already. That's basically I'm only just essentially starting still. So that's essentially what I've been kind of doing here for the most part. Come, bike, come. Thank you. All right. Bike comes on its own. It feels good. I mean, yeah, there's still bugs in the game and stuff, but you know what? As a game this robust, I mean, there's gonna be bugs in the game. And look, it's like how would I put it? The best way to people not to overreact about this game is basically to say, you know what? At least it's not No Man's Sky. If you need math head help in the future, can you contact me? Absolutely, Sion. Absolutely. Now that's one of the things I will talk about here really quick. Um, is that yeah, you will always get help from me, whether it's inside or outside the classroom there. So you come and ask me, say, hey, you know what, Ali, I need your help, and then you say, oh, I'm like, okay, I'll be more than happy to help you. Because that's still my way of reaching out to you. Okay. So yeah, you can ask me at any time. I've had people come back to me and ask me questions before. So I don't mind if you come back and say, "Hey, you know what? I need help with this particular topic or whatever," and we could go over it together once I have the time. That's not a problem. Okay? No, no, of course. That's something that I make a promise to any and all of my students. I'd be like, "Hey, you need a letter recommendation, you need some help about whatever. If I can help you, I'm going to certainly try." Definitely that's something on the table there. I'm not gonna I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to ignore you outright. No, of course not. Just because we're no longer teacher and student after, a few days here doesn't mean that I'm going to totally neglect you in any form or fashion. That doesn't seem to make any sense at all. So, yeah, I don't want to be, I'm not going to be like that guy there. So, please feel free to reach out to me at any time, and then I'll be more than happy to help you. I have not. I will look at those. I will look at those tomorrow, actually. So I'm actually planning to look at those tomorrow and update that then, and then you'll know what you got on the Chapter 6 and Chapter 9 test. So I have a lot of grading I know I need to catch up on, but those two are the first two things I'm going to be catching up on Wednesday. So just letting you know. How do you do front end routing? You forgot? Okay, let's talk about that here really fast. Absolutely. Let's talk about front-end rounding. Got no problem with that. Okay, so go back to, where was that located again? Let me grab this, hang on. Give me just a second here. There's a certain example I want to show off. So basically, with front-end rounding, you want to round to the nearest whole number here. I don't have a really good example there, but let's look at an example here. Where's that here? Okay, so let's say, for example, here we had 13.7 plus 12.1 plus 0.4. Okay, and I asked you, hey, can you estimate these together here and get a final answer, for example? Okay, Samantha. All right, so here with 13.7, you would always want to round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so that's essentially what you're doing here, is rounding to the nearest whole number. So let's talk with the key here. Round to the nearest whole number. All right. So you could use that with any kind of front number here. So front end would be, say, 13 is the nearest whole number. Or you could say, for example, we had 13. Or there's a couple ways you can actually approach it. For example, 13.7 can be rounded to 14. Or if you wanted to go a front end rounding just looking at the 3 here, this would be rounded to 10 because the fact that 3 here would round down to 10. So it could round to 14 if you're using the 0.7, or it could round to 10 if you're using the 3 with the 1 out here. It just depends on how you want to round. So for example here, 0.4 would round to 0 because, again, 4 would actually round down here, and then that's essentially what you get. Essentially with front-end rounding, the basic idea is just to look at the very front number that you have here. So 27 or 24. 27, you would look at the 2 here. This would front end round to 30 because you have the 7 next door that you want to look at. 24, on the other hand, you're still looking at the same 2, but now you have a 4 here, and now this rounds down to 20 instead. So again, you can look at the front number here and determine how to round, or if you want to look at the front number here, you want to declare your front number here to be 3 in this case, or in this case 2. Like in this case here, this could round out to 10, or this could round up to 12, this could round to 12, whatever the case may be. But that's how you do front-end rounding here. Just look at that front number and round to that particular number there. So 347. If I look at 3 here, this would round to 300 because 4 is next door. But if I have, say, 372, well, now I'm looking at the 3, using the 7, and now 7, it rounds up to 4, so 400. So just like so. And that's essentially how you do front-end rounding here. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. You asked a question, so I'll be more than happy to answer. Not a problem. The game can always come later, but the question always comes first. So, does anybody else have any other questions? Again, you guys can ask me about whatever. So, you know, meantime, I'll just drive a motorcycle around. That. Any other questions you guys have? Oh, look, it's the NCPD. And they're dead. Oh my gosh. Guess I can't ping them. Hey, look, the T-pose. Woo! Sorry, bro. You are gone. Whee! Well, you guys could be able to see me, but I ain't gonna change a thing. Now you have to fight against your own buddy. And let's breach protocol here. Let's see. I don't have a 5-5 there, do I? Dang it. There we go. Get wrecked. Bye-bye. Lovely. Get wrecked. Any other? Funny. Easy peasy. Oh, look. It's cat food. Woohoo. Take this for money. It's not a lot of money. And let's read the instructions. Delay. Don't forget, start at the same time. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, stuff. Sure. Things. More things. Money. Easy. Alright, these are actually pretty tough, to be honest with you. Let's see, 5-5 E9. 5-1C. No. Got a. There we go. Sometimes you can't get all three. You go with what's best. Easy time, easy life. Easy XP. That can't go wrong. Woo! I park that thing. There it is. All right. Let me stop this for a second here. All right, let's go back here for a second. All right. There are any more questions? I know the gameplay is a little compelling, but any more questions from you guys first and foremost? No questions? All right. Well, I'm going to end the stream here for today. All right. I want to thank you guys very much for coming out here to these streams throughout the course of the semester. I love all of you. You guys know where to find me if you always need extra help. Okay. All of you will get as all of you. I'll be more than happy to help you as much as I humanly possibly can on my end. So if you have more questions in the future, please don't hesitate to ask. I've taught 96 before on many occasions, so I know what all the material is about. So if you're having any issues about that, you're going up to the next level there, then yeah, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I wish you all good luck on the upcoming tests. All right, make sure you finish that homework here. Again, it's all due by midnight on Thursday. Okay, everybody, that'll take care of it from my end. All right, all good things must come to an end, and unfortunately, it'll be this stream here for the semester for Math 090 anyway. But you will see me online from time to time. That's for sure. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have yourself a great one, and we will see you later. Okay, take care, friends. Have a great one. You have a wonderful Christmas as well. You have a wonderful Christmas holiday. Wonderful holiday in general. Happy holidays, everybody. Have a great winter break, and we will see you in a bit. All right. Take care, everybody.